Feeling burnt out and it's already the start of the year, I completely empathize with you, and we're going to talk about how to understand those signs, see those signs, and be able to avoid them entirely, or at least get them to a manageable level for yourself and your business. If you're tired of the old cookie-cutter marketing advice and want to take your personal brand to the next level with bold, actionable strategies that truly reflect you, you're in the right place. Let's untangle your marketing mayhem with Zoe, the video confidence coach, on the Unboring Your Brand podcast. Unboring Your Brand was recorded on Wadawurrung land. Burnout is a serious thing, and I myself experienced a cycle of it for a very long time. Growing up, it was my coping mechanism, to be perfectly honest. I would push myself to absolute burnout, push myself to ridiculous burnout, and then sleep for 1 or 2 days and then get back up and do it all over again. As you can imagine, that's not great for your mental, your physical, and your emotional health, but it's also not great for just maintaining relationships and having that energy and priority all completely out of whack at any given point. And with the current world changes, news and events, changes in politics, and honestly the rise of hostility that I'm sure some of us have witnessed in the past. And it feels like history is repeating itself. And with the addition of platforms, social media platforms leaving and coming back, and I'm not talking purely about like the TikTok American thing, even though that was all that was discussed about online. There is a lot of those factors that now it is coming into play where it's becoming more on the broader stage, where a lot of these governments do have the power to, ban and get rid of these tools that we use to communicate and market our business and market our personal brands. So, with everyone wanting peace and with everything feeling very much in turmoil, you can understand why you're feeling burnt out. And if you have not understood that feeling, let me break it down for you. So specifically, let's talk about marketing, because of course, the video confidence coach, we talk about marketing here. It is my shtick. I mainly talk about video marketing and personal branding because that is my area of expertise, but marketing as a whole, let's just think about it that way for us. Marketing burnout is that dreaded point, so that you can see yourself getting to that point, or maybe you're already there, where the marketing, your personal brand or your business feels like a chore instead of something that fuels your business. Now, some of you may be listening or watching and saying, Zoe, I already feel like that. I hate marketing. Ugh. I get it. But there's usually a point where it kind of becomes that little bit extra for you. A lot of people who I work with find that they've gotten to that point of burnout before they come and seek guidance or my services. They usually feel overwhelmed that their alliances, their processes and everything that they've done to kind of get through this point has all failed them. They dread doing their to-do list, especially when it comes to marketing. And they just don't give an F anymore. I've been told not to swear. They honestly just don't care anymore about what their marketing says, what it does. Let's just slap a quote post up on Instagram and call it a day. Now, if you do that, I'm not accusing you of anything. I do that too at sometimes. Marketing your business is a creative outlet for a lot of small business owners and a lot of personal brand builders. It is a hobby that is like an addition to your business. It allows you to be creative with your brand, that allows you to take out of the mundanity of working in your business to working on your business and helping you generate leads, generate interest, and also build your authority in this space. No matter what space you're in, you need to build authority in it for people to come to you, recognize you, and trust you, and lastly, promote you to everyone else that they know. And if you want those people that they're like giving you good word of mouth from, especially if you've worked with them or given them products or given them services, they're going to research you. We're no longer in the day of just, oh, my uncle told me this, I'm going to take it wholeheartedly and go down to the shops and do this. No, we're no longer in that point. We need proof that what they're saying and what they're doing is true. We need to make sure that the story lines up with what we can actually find and research about said company, said business, said personal brand. But coming back to us, why we feel burnt out. Now, There's plenty of reasons, and I'm sure you've rattled off a few in your head. But let's start off with a couple of the obvious ones. There is too much pressure, either with yourself, putting it on yourself to do marketing that may or may not be your strong suit, or pressure outside, either staff or people that you work with, or maybe even your clients. There's just a lot of pressure to be posting daily, to respond to every comment, and to make viral-worthy content on a regular basis. If that is not your shtick, if that is something that you feel like you need to succeed in your personal brand or your business, I'm going to tell you now that it's not. Also, trying to seek virality is not sustainable. And to be honest, with a lot of the people that I work with, I completely push that idea out. Not just because it is something that you can't obtain easily or consistently. And there are plenty of people who have gone viral and then immediately crashed, because virality is not something that people should aim for. Like getting a lot of numbers or getting a lot of follows or likes. Unless those people are turning into leads for you and your brand, forget about it. Coming back to the list. Comparing yourself against others. Now, of course, I have a lot of people that I work with, and I'm sure you come across yourself, is they're very good at scrolling their feeds, looking at what other people are doing, specifically on social media, but also in their email inboxes, in billboards and flyers, on other people's websites. They're very good at scrolling and looking and thinking of these things. But then they don't have any sort of time or creativity to think about how they can apply that to their own brand. They just think, why can't it look like that? I'm really shit at this. They ultimately feel worse. They're constantly comparing themselves. The second last thing I want to mention is having no boundaries. So what I mean by this is you can feel burnt out when you run out of energy. That's just in a day-to-day burnout. But specifically with marketing burnout is because you're putting it on such a low priority on your list, and you've not invested any sort of thinking time, doing time, or actioning time to be able to get that thing to be done, just the last thing that you do at the end of the day. Time that you should be spending with your family or by yourself or with your pets, any opportunity to or even friends. Those exist too, though. Your chance to relax is being pushed out by having to do this marketing, or maybe setting yourself goals that you, at the first, when you set them, made sense. You can definitely reach those goals. And then things have started to fall apart as the year has progressed. And the last thing that can contribute to marketing burnout specifically is doing it all yourself. When solo marketing is your stuff, it is a grind and it can be brutal. And especially if you are throwing everything out into the ether with not really a plan, but kind of a general guide, and nothing's coming back to you, nothing positive, nothing negative, nothing in between. It can feel so disheartening. You get told to be consistent, but it feels like no one's listening. Because honestly, they're probably not. And unless you do something incredibly controversial or sickening, I don't recommend that you do that. It can feel like you're becoming a content creator or a YouTuber or being a video editor over actually putting your message out there in a sustainable way for you. Something that honestly for a lot of brands should be a fun activity when it comes to marketing yourself, can just be completely burnt out. And for those of us who have never found it fun, I'm going to question what you do to make things creative within what creative aspects do you do in your business on a day-to-day basis? I would love to know. Feel free to comment or send me an email. I'd love to have a chat. Now that we've talked about what burnout can eventually look like, what does it look like before it actually happens? How do you spot the burnout, again, specifically the marketing burnout, before it actually takes over your business and takes over your life? Because for a lot of us who are working on building a personal brand, on building our businesses, this is our life. It may be maybe a part-time or a casual in regards to hours, but it's the thing we're focusing on. It's the thing that we're putting effort into. So you can definitely understand why, if this part is you're feeling burnt out by, you find yourself procrastinating over every single marketing task because it just falls into that bucket for you. You're just like, you're completely over it and everything falls into the junk drawer and you never see it again. You say things that you're going to do and then you never do them. You mention to people, oh, I'll post about that, or I'll share that, or I'll mention that, and then nothing happens. And then, of course, you don't look good because you don't fulfill your promises. But then you also don't look good because you're not, you're just looking tired and feeling tired too. Your creativity for not just marketing activities, but creativity within your business tanks. Your fresh ideas poof out of your head and become tumbleweeds in the night sky. You also end up feeling resentful towards your own marketing and maybe efforts that you've done, or maybe efforts that you've hired other people to do in the past. You keep thinking and hating what you did in the past because it means that you've set the bar a bit too high for yourself, or maybe it's just that consistency is no longer working for you and you become resentful for past you for putting you into this position in the first place. So I'm going to say now, past you had plans, past you had motivations, and do not worry. It is okay to feel this way. This happens. This happens to businesses like myself, marketing coaches like myself. There's plenty of times we've fallen off the bandwagon for our own marketing. Why? Because we're focusing on our clients, which is what we like to do. I'm a good example of that. I do have a tendency with social media in particular. I kind of just put it on the lowest priority and then everything kind of falls. Don't worry, I'll do it again when I care. But this episode is not just for you, but it's also for me as well. I want to go into now ways to beat that marketing burnout. So we've already established what it is and how it feels, and we already know what it looks like before we get there. Now let's figure out ways and tactics and actions we can take proactively to make sure that we don't reach that point of burnout. Now, I do say this with all my heart and all my love. You are going to experience marketing burnout with any and all of these tips because it's just going to happen within your brand. You are going to come across periods of time within your life where you're just going to hit that point of breaking. These actions, these following tools can help you not reach that as often, but it's still going to happen regardless because your life is your life. Your life is busy and your life has things that need to ebb and flow and be flexible. That is why we build our personal brands, to keep our lives flexible. First thing that you start off with is setting realistic goals. Now, again, back into the realm of marketing, we are talking about realistic goals, not like, hey, I'm going to post 3 times a day. What does that even mean? You start thinking not just too hard, but you just overdoing it yourself for honestly not a whole lot of or a little bit of return. So focusing on the platforms that are going to guarantee you the leads that are going to generate the snowball effect for your business to help you expand your systems and your reliability later on. Set yourself realistic goals on platforms that you've either gotten leads from in the past or you've got a lot of engagement from. I'm not saying that you need to crash and burn all the other platforms. I'm just saying in those realistic goals, and for anyone who has followed my work in the past, what is your BFM? What is your bare effing minimum when it comes to your marketing goals? And set them nice and low so you can jump over them. You can make them really easy for yourself. And focusing on the quantity over the quality of your content is detrimental. So when it comes to setting realistic goals, not really thinking about the numbers per se, but thinking about, okay, realistically, what is my bare effing minimum? That would be more in the realm of, okay, I could do 2 posts a week. One of them being a repost of previous content that I've done because I invested all that money into, that social media producer from a year ago. For example, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just giving you an example. So in that case, okay, well, realistically, instead of doing, 5 posts a week, I can do 2. I can do 1 of repurposing older content with a new description and maybe a little bit of editing if I feel like it. And then have another post, be it an image, be it a carousel, be it a video or nice short video that, again, reminds people that you exist. Give them the answers to the questions that they're seeking. And if something is related to the news that's about and about, because, trending people like stuff, that will give you a lot more boost to engagement rather than just constantly recycling all the stuff that may not be as relevant to your industry and your niche. Because again, setting those realistic goals, you are trying to think about what is going to make me the authority in the space. And making the authority in the space includes, that's right, actually being responding back to important news and events around your industry. And maybe something that doesn't even directly affect your industry. Maybe in your opinion and your expertise, you say, oh, this is definitely going to affect us. I should let people know. There you go. You've done 2 posts a week, and that is more sustainable to be able to work within your business. Because when it comes to marketing, it is an engine in your car that you can push or let go when it comes to the accelerator. So do you need to get more money in fast? Okay, leading into, not when you're desperate for money, when you're leading into needing more money, you can run maybe some more posts, run some ads, run some lead magnets, run some events, run some tools. When you're leading into that time when you're not going to have as much income or money to cash flow run the business. And in those moments where you are so flat off your feet that you are busy, that you don't have time, take your foot off the accelerator. Go back to that bare effing minimum. Okay, let that go, let that do its thing. And then we can start pushing down that accelerator when the time comes. And again, leading into it is more important than trying to be like, oh crap, we're almost out of clients. Slamming the accelerator. It's going to jerk everyone forward and give everyone neck pain for the next 10 years. Back to the thing, I'm digressing, Zoe. Make sure, as a way to beat your burnout, is to check your priorities. Focusing on what is important for you. Now, I'm not talking just about platforms. I'm talking about your priorities for your business. What is your values? What is your mission? What is your vision for your business? And your marketing is supposed to be a tool that is going to help you achieve that values and mission and vision. I should actually remember the order of that, sorry. So, in those moments, what are your priorities? And say, for example, if posting on Instagram is not a priority for you, but you enjoy it, make it a priority for yourself. So to keep you engaged and out there. But again, coming back to those priorities that are going to work for your business. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, breaking it down into those smaller chunks that you can do effectively and consistently over time is going to make it easier. And to make it easier, I do recommend for my clients to start writing down your creative ideas when you have them. Your brain is not a computer. There's been a couple of people that, relate your brain to your computer. What I mean by that is a computer is a set of hard drives that can recall information when you go out and reach for it and bring it back. Your brain is very good at coming up with ideas on the fly. It is very dynamic. It is something that moves very fast. But when it comes to storing information, it's okay sometimes, but it's not as great as simply writing the idea down, as recording either a voice note or putting that information into a Google Doc or, a Word document that you back up somewhere. Please back this up. Again, putting it down so it's no longer sitting in your brain like burning a hole. It's sitting in whatever document you need. And when it comes time to thinking about this content or thinking about the things that you want to say to your customers, you don't have to think off the fly. You've got a list of relevant things, of stories that you've come across from your clients, or maybe someone's, purchased a product off you and they gave a really sweet review. And you want to talk about it and highlight that review and highlight that story of someone buying from you. About your client success stories, just to name a few. Do not rely on your brain to be the computer. So you don't have to be, now I thought this was very smart when I wrote this, so I'm going to read it out. You don't have your brain to recall your computer brain like it's a Windows XP computer trying to book, when it's a Windows XP computer trying to book flights at Christmas. I'm very proud of that one. For those who aren't in the know, a lot of airlines still run on Windows XP, which is, I think about 4 to 5 versions of Windows back. So we're talking like 2002 was when this was in its heyday. And it is quite scary that a lot of these very major companies who have very intricate processes are relying on such older computers. Let's keep going for ourselves, can we? So as a way to help you check your priorities and set realistic goals, and making sure that when you're writing down your ideas, you can batch your content ahead of time. Working smarter, not harder, you can set aside a day, or in some cases, set aside an hour or two, getting that list of ideas and create content in bulk. So you can either record a couple of videos in bulk, or put ideas into words and put it into blogs, or again, whatever system. Now, of course, if you are unclear of where to even go in the direction when it comes to marketing, feel free to reach out to me. I offer a 15-minute free session of just a chat of like, hey, let's get your priorities straight. I'm here for you. So make sure you reach out to me on my website. But when it comes to, thinking of creating things in bulk, think so you don't have to scramble every day for the content that you need. You can go creating the content in bulk, scheduling it a month in advance so that you've got that bare minimum going on in the background. And if something comes up in your industry, yes, put a post out. Don't worry. And then in those moments when there's not a whole lot going on, you've got that consistency going on in the background, not just for social media posts, but for email lists too, for website updates, for blogs, for whatever you're doing to help promote your brand that you enjoy doing is the thing that you're going to do, because that probably works better for solo creators. If those things do not work, so if you're still finding yourself grinding your teeth going, I hate marketing, Zoe, this is an absolute tool of a thing to do, may I recommend, Dr. Zoe here, I'm going to recommend you take a break. Just take a break from your marketing. Give yourself 2 weeks, and making sure that you schedule in time to actually revisit this, so you're not just kicking the can down the road for the next millennia, but taking a break from your marketing. If it is burning you out so heavily, to take a break, not just from the act of actually creating content and marketing your business, but to actually take that time to not doom scroll, to think about why you do what you do. If you're so off your feet, you shouldn't be doom scrolling. That is a message for both you and me. So come back stronger in a week, in 2 weeks, whatever time that you need. But make sure that you schedule in that time in your calendar to come back, give yourself an hour or two to understand the lay of the land, where things have been coming and where things have been going in your brand, to then make that decision. Also, in that moment, for example, let's just say you're grinding your teeth, absolutely hate marketing. You come back and you think, Zoe, I hate this, I don't want to do this. You have 2 options. You can outsource. So instead of you doing the work, get someone else to do it. If it's in your budget and in your energy and in your time, you can hire help, either an in-person or a virtual assistant, to be able to help you with both editing, writing, and generating content, even brainstorming in the background to help you with the hardest parts of that marketing journey. I highly recommend not handing everything over regarding your personal brand or your business just to someone else and say, have at it, go at it, I'm going to focus on this. Because marketing your brand is the public face of your business. Marketing is your public face of your business. So if you do not have control of it, if you do not set out the guides, if you do not set out the parameters that people need to understand this is what we want to achieve, this is why we want to achieve it, and this is who we want to target with our marketing, you are absolutely wasting your money when it comes to marketing. So outsourcing is a completely different ballgame that I can discuss at a later podcast episode. But in those moments, if you feel like you need to outsource it, you are going to have to invest that time to find someone or a team to do it for you. You're going to have to educate them on what you do and making sure that they actually reflect very clearly what you do. And then you're going to have to run at least 2 or 3 months, if you're including ads as well, at least 6 months, worth of making sure that that actually is working out, that the team that you're working with is doing what it needs to do and you're actually happy with it. Yes, that is more time and more energy, but is that what you need? Awesome. Do it. If that is not what you need, and you don't need that headache of trying to manage other people while you're also managing your clients, your your staff, and whoever else you already have on board, then what can you automate? What tools are going to help you achieve those goals, those realistic goals that we already set, and going to help you focus on those priorities? What tools can you use to automate things? Now, of course, I can go through a list, but I do realize that I have talked and yapped a long time on this episode. So you can go back to previous episodes and check the show notes for those, previous podcasts where I talk about automated tools that can help you with your marketing. And don't worry, we're on the home stretch here. So if you're sick of my yapping, don't worry, we're almost there. The things to prevent burnout in the future. So of course, we've already talked about things leading up to it. And now to wholeheartedly protect yourself in your branding and business endeavors, you can do these following things. Planning ahead. Giving your future self a little bit of a, don't worry, I gotcha, because past self has been doing a lot of nasty things to you. So making sure that you have a calendar in front of you and give yourself enough time to plan and prepare things. Give yourself some grace, give yourself some space. If you are finding marketing very much a chore and you're getting to that burnout stage, taking that break, even if it is a small break, doing that and giving yourself that time. Celebrating small wins. You will have no idea how much I celebrated when I got my first lead through my social marketing endeavors. Like I got a lead, this woman said, I love your vibe, I love everything that you do, I want to know more about this. I sent it to the website, she filled in the form straight away, bada bing, bada boom, and everything that I was doing worked out really well. And that only happened after consistency, after showing my face, after doing what I needed to do. Now, again, I'm not saying that you need to show your face, but I was there consistently for a good 2-3 months while I was still setting up my business and still setting up things before I was able to get that lead. And it worked! So celebrate those small wins for yourself, even if it is just one service, one product, an ad hoc thing. Celebrate. And always remember why you're marketing. It's not about those vanity metrics. Vanity metrics are just the numbers. Like how many people saw this post? How many people are following me? How many people are like clicking the share or like buttons? Are they generating you money? Are they generating you leads? Are they growing that like and know factor? Connecting you to your audience and helping you grow your brand is why you're marketing. And if you're finding that that's hard to swallow at the moment, take a break, come back to it, and feel at peace when you do. Marketing burnout is real. For those who haven't experienced marketing burnout, raise out your hand. I doubt you would have gotten through this entire podcast episode if you had not. But it doesn't have to be your burden to bear forever. By setting boundaries, simplifying your processes, and being kind to yourself in those moments where it's not going the way that you planned, you can keep your own marketing strong without losing your mind. So taking a breath and maybe grabbing a snack. Remind yourself that you've got this. You are running or you are building a brand, and that's going to take time, energy, and if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But you are special because you are taking that initiative to do it. So, thank you so much for joining us in the podcast today. I look forward to hearing and seeing all of your emails regarding this episode. And if you have anything that you want to reach out to, all my details are at vcc.training, or you can email me at zoe@vcc.training. Hear from you soon. Thank you for listening or watching Unboring Your Brand. You can find detailed show notes with tools, offers, and episode transcriptions. Just click the first link in the description or go to vcc.training/podcast. Get involved and ask me anything about personal branding, video strategy, or just a friendly small business chat via my email, g'day@vcc.training. That is gday@vcc.training. The Video Confidence Coach would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which I record my podcast. I pay my respects to their elders past and present. I stand with the traditional custodians of these lands in working towards a more equal future. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Look forward to me chatting at you next week, superstars.